Oak Tree by Gordon Morrison. Every day, for many weeks now, the sun has risen a little higher in the sky. Each day is longer and warmer than the day before. On this day, something special happens. An old oak tree, warmed by the rising sun, slowly wakes from a long winter's rest. Spring has arrived. The old tree moves sap water from its roots and stem to its twigs and buds. Fed by the sap, the buds slowly grow plump and lengthen. A morning cloak butterfly crawls from a crack in the oak tree's bark. The oak tree's bark spreads its wings on the warm sun and flutters away. Meanwhile, near the top of the tree, a red-tailed hawk has returned to its nest. Soon its mate will return, and they will once again raise a family. 3 or 4 weeks pass. The buds split open. As small leaves and flowers push out, caterpillars chew on the young leaves. The flowers grow quickly. A week later, the tree is in full bloom. The oak has 2 kinds of flowers, male and female. The male flowers hang from long, thin stems that sway in the wind and drop a dust called pollen. The female flowers grow at the base of the leaves and are sprinkled by the pollen dust. A pair of downy woodpeckers takes turns chipping wood from one of the oak's large limbs. They are making a nest hole where they will raise their family. The female pauses in her work to eat a caterpillar. During the weeks when the oak tree flowers, a pair of robins builds a nest on the tree's branches. After the flowers drop their pollen and fall from the twigs, the female robin settles into the nest to lay her eggs. Days pass and continue to grow longer and warmer. Small knobs now grow at the base of each leaf where the female flowers used to be. These knobs are young acorns. A gray squirrel scurries up the oak's trunk. It is carrying a cluster of dry leaves to its leaf nest high in the tree. On the other side of the trunk, honeybees fly to and from their hive in the tree. The back legs of the returning bees are covered with pollen and nectar. Many more leaves appear each day. They spread to catch as much sunlight as they can. The oak uses the sunlight to make food in its leaves to help it grow. This process is photosynthesis. The old tree's roots reach deep into the soil and secure the tree in the ground. Under the roots are spaces where some animals find shelter. A skunk family has a den in a hollow under one of the oak's huge roots. The mother skunk scolds hognose snake that has come too near her home. The hognose spreads its head, puffs its body, and hisses in defense. The skunk does not attack, and the lucky snake slowly backs away. It will look somewhere else for a place to lay its eggs. By midsummer, the old oak has spread most of its leaves. The robins are raising their second family. High in the oak, a gray tree frog perches on a branch and sings its song, a bird-like trill. Late on a hot summer night, a male tree cricket clings to the oak's bark and sings its song. The female cricket hears his call and crawls up the bark toward him. On the longest, hottest days of summer, shade from the oak's leaves help to cool the birds, mammals, and insects that live on it, live on, in, and around the tree. By the end of summer, the acorn knobs have grown into capped nuts, and small buds have grown at the base of many leaves. Inside each bud is a tiny flower or leaf. These are next year's flowers and leaves. They will bloom or spread next spring. Autumn has arrived, and the days are growing shorter and cooler. The full-grown acorns fall from the tree. The leaves are changing color. Soon most of them will also fall. It's time for plants and animals to prepare for winter. Some, like the red-tailed hawks, may fly away. Others, like the skunks, grow a warm winter coat. The squirrels store seeds and nuts. The oak and other trees will sleep through the winter. The oak tree prepares to sleep by moving less sap from its roots and stem. All around the hill, the green leaves of summer have changed to the many colors of fall. After the downy woodpeckers raise their family, they leave their nest hole. A flying squirrel moves in and makes its home. On a cool, clear night, the flying squirrel leaps from its hole in the oak tree. A woolly bear caterpillar wriggles across a colorful oak leaf. Oak bullet galls form on the twigs, and the old tree moves less and less sap as each passing day grows shorter and colder. By now, the oak has dropped most of its acorns. Its leaves fall, covering many of the acorns. A pair of turkeys comes to the oak to feed on fallen acorns. Through autumn and winter, they will return again and again. The weather has turned cold. Leaves cover the ground. Evening falls, and an opossum sets out from its root den behind the oak in search of food. The old tree slips deeper into sleep. The robin's nest has been empty for many weeks. Soon it may break apart. But a white-footed mouse covers the nest with a roof of grass and weeds. After storing seeds and nuts in the nest, the mouse moves in for the winter. Weeks pass, and a light snow falls over the hills, the first snow of winter. The gray squirrel is cozy in its nest. The honeybees cluster in their hive. A ruffed grouse scratches in the snow and leaves for acorns. And a flying squirrel peeks from its hole to see what the noise is all about. Now the old tree is once again deep in sleep. It's midwinter, and a blanket of snow covers the land. The old tree has been dormant, deep in sleep, for many weeks. A white-tailed deer and her 2 yearlings come to the hilltop to visit the oak. They will paw through the snow for acorns and tender buds, and twigs from oak saplings. The cocoon of a cecropia moth is attached to a twig. Inside the cocoon, the moth, like the oak, waits for spring. A month passes, and the days slowly become longer and a little warmer. A pair of great horned owls has moved into the empty hawk's nest. The female owl has laid 2 eggs. Her mate brings her food while she keeps the eggs warm and dry. After another month of warming days, spring returns. Once again, the old oak awakens from its long winter's rest and moves sap water to its twigs and buds. Soon flowers will bloom and leaves will unfurl, but today something special happens. In the leaf litter near the roots of the old tree, an acorn shell splits open. From inside the shell, a tiny shoot reaches out and down. Twisting and poking, it pushes into a warm, soft patch of soil and takes root. Soon, a tiny stem sprouts up and out of the shell, and a baby oak tree begins to grow.